Stop streaming. Okay, cool. Looks like it works now. Beautiful. Good evening, everybody. Most likely being Tom or somebody in here. Okay. Got that. Looks like I have sounds. Good to go. Let's turn the brightness down on this. I can even turn that off. Hello, Tomothy. Good evening. Or good morning, or whatever. Oh, let's see. What's there? Got to do some readjustments in the system. So we're already down here at Ayers Rock. In 27 minutes exactly. Let's see, today. Dick. Okay, I'll be real. This trying to do trance beats or something. But we're gonna have to change that. That's not working for me. Okay, let's make sure that's still registering and okay, cool, that's working. Keyboard goes back there. Let's get Arufa. Ellie work. Cool. Works for me. We'll find out in about 25 minutes why it's precisely 27 minutes. Okay, well, this one we're coming back up here to Alice Springs real quick. Topping off on the fuel stuff. Set as arrival. Let that add fuel to it. And after that, we'll be heading up to okay, let's see. East USA 41. Save that. Okay. Get that back and resume. Cool. Dumb shadow. That's all the way up. That's going on. I got my throttle and everything down. I can click my fuel button because that doesn't transfer over. Hey. Okay, so that's moving now. And one's appropriate. Start rolling the throttle up down here. Let's see, a little bit of water, we'll be good to go. I actually had to recalibrate my cyclic. It was off for some reason. Don't know why, but it was. But yeah, we can get rid of that stuff there. I do not want to touch the freaking thing. I do want to check. Ayers Rock Airport field elevation. It is 1627. But I do not want to touch this radio and have it start yapping its shit to me again. $1,620. About there. 3040 sounds about right. Okay, Ayers Rock traffic. Ayers Rock Tower. It's helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. On the ramp with information, your mama. We're going to be looking for a direct departure off the ramp. Ayers Rock traffic or tower, whoever. Actually, I'm going to grab some altitude really quick here because we ran into something invisible last night right when we were finishing up. I'm not going to do that again. Actually, I'm going to come over here and hit initial climb and everything though, so that way our Garmin here will play along. Actually, I don't know if that's in the Garmin. Yeah, it's having us go the other way, so we'll go the other way. Hey, the nipple, I forgot it was out there. What a day. So we got a hell of a headwind right here, but we're not going in that direction per se. Nipple. Okay, let's see. 105, 105. Yeah, we're pretty much evened up here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I can deal with that. Bless me. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I took off in the 130 to take the thumbnail picture, and I had to hold the cyclic like way back, like holding it centered, or what felt like centered, and I even looked down and I confirmed it was pretty well centered. And I took off the ground and we were just going forward, like a hard push forward. So I got off the ground, got the picture real quick. I just had to adjust where I was holding it, but then I sat down and redid it. But I had to recalibrate. Thank you. I had to recalibrate the all the stuff. Don't know how it got off. I did readjust the tension and stuff in it because I did mention yesterday that it felt like instead of smoothly pushing forward with the cyclic and stuff, and instead of it slowly being able to move, it was kind of catchy because of the amount of tension that I had on it. Either way, it's been remedied. Well, I don't remember it. Or we were also kind of coming down more this way. Say another being this eastward. Any idea what sort of winds we're looking at from Ayers Rock to Alice Springs, or if we have any favorable altitudes? Oh. We can get rid of this whole thing. Don't need you. Yeah, I was woke up earlier today, hopped back in online ground school, and started back over from the beginning. This time taking notes, rewatching stuff, because I don't want to say that I know everything that they were teaching. We are still in Australia, correct? But I'm planning on doing double legs today and tomorrow, so we can be out of here in 2 days. Tomorrow should be our last day in Australia, not including maybe leaving the 3rd day. But today and tomorrow will be our last 2 full days in country. But yeah, so I'm not going to act like I know everything from the ground school, because that would be definitely the wrong fucking attitude to have on something like that. But what I will say is that all the concepts that they were talking about, I knew, I understood, but I may have just not necessarily known the names for it. So, like, I understand how the airfoil of the blade works. I understand what the angle of the relative wind coming in. I'm going to use the proper term so I can reinforce my knowledge. But we'll say, yeah, it does. This place is fucking hell. So yeah, say we're looking at the airfoil. So let's say the front of our compass here in the middle is the front of it, and let's say it kind of comes back to point back here. And down the center of your airfoil from the front of the leading edge to the back of the trailing edge is your chord line. Now the angle of your overall airfoil, or the pitch of it, is different than what's effective, because as we're leaning forward in the helicopter, even though we have the same pitch in the blades because I haven't moved the collective, the wind is coming into the airfoil at a different direction, and that's your relative wind. So the angle of the wind coming into your relative wind, below that's your induced flow, which is the air that's coming through the system. What's above it is considered your angle of attack, so that's how your stall and everything is measured, through that particular angle. Blah blah blah. Anyways, I understood all of that. I understood how it worked. I just couldn't remember the names of it because, you know, my brain's a how does this thing work, not what did somebody name this. And I was describing it to somebody earlier, and it made a lot of sense to me the way I decided to describe it. It was that studying to take the test seems very, very disingenuous to me. Anybody can memorize flashcards, just like there... Berlin, welcome. Just like there are the videos of like the kids in China that are doing the field strip of the AK-47 or whatever Chinese rifle that they're using. And you go, oh man, you know, the Chinese are teaching their kids to be soldiers. It's going to be whatever. We're flying over tomato bisque. You are correct. Sometimes there's little lobster bits, but they're kind of moldy, as you can see in front of us. But yeah, so it's like you can teach anybody recall. You can teach anybody to recite stuff. But that isn't the understanding. That isn't the knowledge of it. So that's a bit where I don't want to say struggling, but it's a bit where I'm having to adjust my course of personal study currently. Because I physically, I mentally, conceptually understand how the helicopter flies, how it works, what all the different functions of aerodynamics are on it. I can do it, I can explain it, but when you say like, okay, cool, what's induced flow? And why is induced flow bad? Or whatever. And like one of the lessons I was listening to was talking about how induced flow is technically bad and angle of attack is really what you want. And the way they said it when I was first watching, I was like, why is this bad? It's air that's getting moved through the system. But he was talking about in relation to like how the engine's using power. So it's different ways that he was explaining that, like I said, it didn't make sense to me, because I was like, this is not a bad thing. And induced flow isn't a terrible thing. It's not like you're, if you have induced flow, your helicopter's going to fall out of the sky. It's like induced flow is just a property of everything working a particular way, you know? Anyways, and I was reading a book, and it was, welcome back, Timothy. I said my day was okay, but I didn't have a Latina girlfriend now, because my main purpose of that trip was to... Were y'all here the next day? You had to have been here, right? Or were you not paying attention? But it's like, yeah, like I understand the concept of all this stuff and how it works and what the stages are and how it all works together, how all the airflow works or whatever, but when you put the names to it, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta remember the names of this too. Because it's in the test, in the practice test, I was like, fuck, which one's translational lift, which one's ETL, what stages, you know, like, my brain knows how they all work. It's just a matter of going like, okay, fuck, which one is which one has a particular name. Like, yeah, I can tell you how all the cars work, can I tell you, like, what each engine name or whatever is? No. Oh, you think you were EP? Oh, okay. The purpose of that date was to, for lack of better terms, blow somebody's back out. So with that being said, I don't have a Latina girlfriend. But it was a good date, if that tells you anything. And then if you were EP, you didn't remember what I said, that after I left, I decided to stop by and I did my first helicopter lesson in real life. And I was able to hover immediately upon getting all 3 controls. And I was very enthused about that, because that's the purpose why I built this whole simulator set up in my room anyways, with a new PC and the VR and the controls and everything. So that was the reasons of that, but I told that story on the same day. So if you don't remember one, you might not remember the other. But either way, helicopter school has started. Oh no, you were there for that. Yeah, so anyways, then like when you're looking too, there's like standard hovering or whatever, where the air's moving down through the system. I'll just say dirty air because there's bigger vortices on the end of it. When you start moving forward a little bit, it's more of a clean air up front, dirty air in the back. It's like the mullet of flying or gaining speed. And then once you're fully forward and you're above, 20, 25 knots, then you're in the full effectiveness of translational lift. And that's where front and rear of the main rotor blade have clean air. And it's like, cool, yeah, like I remembered the stages of how it worked. Like, yeah, cool, one typically happens from like 10 to 20 knots, the other happens from like 16 to 24 knots, the follow-up one. In most helicopters, I'm sure there's different bits and different ones. But either way, it's like I remember how it works. I remember all the drawings, the diagrams, the charts. It's just a matter of like, fuck, which one was TL, which one was ETL. What are the ways that they specifically say it as far as examples? Because like I said, the examples will be like, oh cool, like ETL happens 10 to 20, then TL will be from like 16 to 24. And then the question may be something like, okay, cool, what happens at like 16 knots? And you're like, well, cool, either one could happen. It just depends on the helicopter that you have, because one might have happened at 10, one might be happening at fucking 16, and you might have a very low airspeed helicopter that gets ETL. So it's kind of like a matter of remembering what their wording and stuff is with it as well. It's like I said, I know the concept of it. I know how it works. I just I'm having to redo my personal way of studying or comprehending or looking over, reading, whatever, I have to redo the way I typically think. Because my brain works in understanding the process. Like, sure, I may not know the word for it, but I can do it and I can understand it completely and fully. Tom, we're currently northeast of Ayers Rock, heading to Alice Springs to pop up on fuel, then head up to Tennant Creek. What does our wind situation look like? Because I'm fighting some weird, like, right rear quartering tailwind right now, and it's not the funnest. Do you have any suggestions as far as where or how to take this helicopter to get us better wind? Or are we just SOL until we make the north turn out of Alice? Yeah, so I need to, I have to go run errands and shit tomorrow. I gotta get more of my nightly snacks, which is like the yogurt, granola, fruit, stuff like that. My giant nightly parfait. So when I'm out tomorrow, I'll pick up some index cards and stuff like that. So that way I can, start making some flashcards, because I'm confident that I understand the concept of everything. I'm just not confident that I know the words for 10,000 feet is basically zero wind. Everything else is annoying, is what you're saying. Yeah, we'll just start adding like 500 feet a minute or so. So yeah, I'm gonna make some flashcards to help me remember the words for everything. As dumb as that is. Like I said, I understand the concepts. I forget what they're called, you know? Like, sure, I can build you a motor. I might not remember what each little thing is called. Oh, this particular pin? Ugh. So yeah, that's what I realized this morning. And of course, tomorrow morning I'll wake up again at 8 o'clock, 8:30 or so, and we'll start studying in round 2, because every day that I'm not working, I will be treating ground school like a full-time job, basically. And any break that I'm taking, I'm putting into like all my little side business idea type thing. Everything else is there. Okay, cool. I'll just kind of continually climb to see what feels best. If we happen to get a particular angle of a rear quartering crosswind that actually feels good, then we'll stick with that altitude. But we'll just slowly be gaining until then. Works for me. How was wheelies yesterday? Did you enjoy your wheelie session? Was it wheelie fun? I feel like today my dad, we were talking, and he's got the bee problem, where the carpenter bees will bore holes into like the wood on the pergola over the porch. And we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I kind of want to see if we can find something to like put up there and whatever. I was like, draw it up, I can 3D print it, you know. It was like when I'm not doing the schooling stuff, or when I take a break to like come in and make lunch, I'm not going to immediately get the beef out of the refrigerator and start cooking it. Like, I'm going to let it sit for a bit, obviously, to warm up to air temp. And I was like, cool, whenever I come in for lunch, have a drawing of what size and everything you want it for. And because they don't really like bore into the wood in the middle of the pergola. It's always like near the edge, like under the cover of the gable of the house. So he just kind of had like a 1.5 inch flat with like a little angled thing on either side to keep the water from coming down. So I made one of those and angled it and put a little ridge in it so it stayed rigid even if it were to get heat on it from being outside in Georgia weather. And I'm not using like a super heat resistant filament. Put some holes in it, and I did a couple of like small 1-inch prototype sessions just to see which one would be best. And we said, okay, cool, this one. So that I just made like a 9-inch section of it, because I can do like 10 inches in the printer. But I like to give that little bit of a I decided to try to paint some plastics on my bike because I don't want to spend $350 on a set of plastics. Yeah, unless you get something that's really made to stick to plastic and you do like all the perfect prep work and stuff, it's just not going to work, sadly. You almost just have to gel coat it. But Yeah, so I've got the printer running. We've already got 10 made. I think we only need like 12. I can do them in batches of 5, the way I have it designed and laid out on the platform. So hopefully here in an hour and a half or so, the last batch will be finished, and he'll be good to put all those under the pergola. At least on that side. But I mean, these things almost look like Hot Wheels tracks. They're just stiffer and with screw holes in it. Just because the general shape of the design. But yeah, I've done some plastic painting. Usually I'll just like plasti dip it and use the spray on plasti dip, and I'll run that for a bit. As soon as it gets bad, I'll take it off and peel it, then I'll do it again. Do you have any ceramic coating to put on it? If you give it a day or two to dry and to off gas, you could probably do some ceramic coating. But it's also, how cold is it down there for you right now? What's my outside air temperature? 6°C. Ugh. It might be a little chilly for you guys down there to get a good off gassing on that paint for like a fucking week or two. I was gonna say, if you can stay off of it for a little bit, you can let it off gas and probably do or at least wait a day, maybe sand it, repaint it, do a couple of coats. It's possible to make it last. It just takes effort. Then it's a matter of like, okay, cool, how good is it going to last versus when I'm doing something silly with it and I lay it down. Like, okay, cool, it's beat up anyways. All that effort was for not much. 15's not bad. It was like what, like 93 or 94 today here in American units. So like half of boiling, so like what, 50 degrees or something for you guys? Yeah, it's just paint. What's the worst that can happen? You could always just do sections and stuff first. A lot of people were nervous about doing something like that. Like, oh man, I don't want to mess this up. Like, cool, just do a section. Do a section that you think would look good in that accent color, or using that color as an accent. And just do that first and run it for a bit and see how well it holds up, you know? $98 for you? Goodness. Which, I mean, I was feeling it this morning. I put on a pair of shorts, no shirt, no shoes. And I was doing all the ground school stuff outside. It's like, yeah, I could sit in my room and just be fucking stuffy. Or sit in the living room and still just be inside. Like, yeah, air conditioning's nice, but like, why not sit on the porch? Why not get fresh air? Worst that can happen is they look horrible and you have to buy the proper ones anyway. Yeah, exactly. Like, worst is you spend the $350 that you were going to spend anyways. Best case scenario is you don't have to spend the $300. Or you're like, hey, this is kind of a cool look even though it's not perfect. Because, which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure like a perfectly clean dirt bike looks good, but at the same time I do want to get I'll just say like a Kawasaki KLR 650, just because they're kind of like tanks that go everywhere, and I want to fucking rattle can it, kind of like I paint all my rifles and stuff, or just do like the desert tan color or something on it, just because there's something about just a fucking shit painted bike that fucking attracts me. Don't know why, just does. I believe I can see Alice Springs area up there at least. 130 miles, yeah. It's way out over that second ridge, but it's out there. Yeah, 110's about, which, what, yesterday was like the first day of summer or something like that? We average, on the hot weeks of the summer, 110, or like 100 to 115. I've seen 117 once, but we're right in that same area. Rattle can equals unique. Oh, your bike has such a good personality. Let's see, 112 air, 121 ground, I'll take it. 7,000 feet, you are my friend. Friday, okay, so pretty close. Both bikes are clean, but there's 2 bits that are the thing that you want black, but you can't buy them individually. We'll make them. Learn how to make molds. Make your own. Then change something just a little bit with it so it looks slightly different than what factory plastics are, and bada bing, bada boom, you have a unique product. Molds aren't that hard to make, and if you only sell 3 a week, you know, you're not putting a shit ton of time into it, but there's an extra couple of $100 to $1,000 fucking dollars, you know? Pretty big. Oh, okay. Is it like the, I don't want to say the front scoop because they're dirt bikes, right? But like the big ones that kind of come up and go around the, yeah, they're water cooled, the fucking radiator or whatever, like the big scoopy front ones. Or are you talking like the rear ones on the back side of the back of the seat? They're the side panels right where I grip my boots, so they have low hopes that they paint holding. Oh, okay, gotcha. What about vinyl wrap? That would hold up. And then you learn how to do vinyl wrap, which is actually pretty fucking lucrative. The next one's back from the scoopy ones, gotcha. Let's say if you didn't paint it already, or if the paint doesn't work out, if you can resand it and make it smooth, you can order fucking vinyl wrap pretty cheap and start doing practice. And like I said, vinyl wrapping is a relatively lucrative business. Well, they will notice. That's actually a thing in Australia. It's kind of like their secret handshake, from what I understand. You show up to these places, and the first thing everybody does is they park their bikes in a line nuts to butts. And then they all get out and they inspect everybody's panels that's behind the scoopy thing where their boots happen to hit. And then they organize the motorcycles in the order of the nicest boot panels to the worst boot panels. And then whoever's at the back gets murdered. So it's in his best interest, you know, to do good with it. It wears through? Oh, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, like, any paint will wear through. You'll have to do, like I said, a gel coat. Or something like that. And even then it'd be tough. Because then you start getting into like the underlying color of the plastic. And if it's not a black plastic, then whatever wears through, you're going to see it. Yeah, but that's going to suck when you're murdered for for having the worst plastic bit on a motorcycle. I've heard about those gangs down there in Australia. I've seen a couple of documentaries about it, so I'm pretty well aware. It's gonna look like a 12 took a rattle can with some unpricked plastic after one ride. So is the one that's $350? Is it just painted black, or is it molded black plastic as well? Where once it gets worn in or scratched or whatever, it's still black underneath. Well, you should maybe wreck your motorcycle, so that way everything else isn't perfect, so then you're not worried about it. It would be cheaper. It's actual black plastic? Okay. Or, hear me out, find somebody else in your group, scratch their black plastic worse than yours, so they're the ones who end up getting murdered for having the worst plastic in the gang. Buy the whole new plastic kit for $300 to $350, and the individual plastics, which are like $90 each, making like $240 for the actual part I'll use. Buy the kit, get the parts you want to use, and sell the rest of it. Because if you can't buy those pieces individually, maybe you can't buy the other pieces individually either, then there's somebody else looking for the other pieces of the kit. Adios, Sean. Good night to Belen as well, because I assume she's going with you. You don't want the whole brand new bike looking perfect except for one spot. There's ways around it. You just gotta play the game a certain way. I've bought plenty of stuff where it's like, okay, cool, I need one piece out of it. And then I'll just sell the rest of it individually. For example, my dad found this watch in his old cabinet. And he gave it to me. Nothing super cool. It's a, I mean, I think it's cool, but it's nothing like super crazy. But it's like a 1971 or 72 Seiko Bellmatic. So it's an automatic wristwatch. Like no batteries or anything, but it has a bell inside that's a mechanical bell. So you can set it and it'll ring. Which is fucking wild. And that was a thing back in the 70s on your wrist. You can buy them individually, but it costs nearly the same amount as the whole kit, which comes with every plastic. Yeah, buy the whole kit. then sell all the plastics you don't need individually. That would be the move. Yeah, so we had this watch, and it worked. Like, it ran. You could wind it or shake it, it would run for a bit. It would die off pretty quick, though. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I want to rebuild it. I don't want to rebuild a Bellmatic for my first watch that I rebuild. So I took it to a shop in town that's good at rebuilding watches. Really, really good guy from what I hear. But I bought another one of these things on eBay that was kind of running. And I was like, cool, here's one that you can use for parts. You know, and whatever you don't need, I'll take and I'll part it out. Because I paid $150 for this thing. It's like, okay, cool, I could sell the gear, or the bell, or the movement, or the case, or whatever, and probably make my money back on it. And probably even make some money on it to even put towards the rebuild. So, who knows? I have another piece coming for it too that I may or may not need, but I grabbed it so that way I don't have to worry about waiting 2 or 3 weeks for it to go back together. $150 knots at 135, so 15 tailwind here at 8,400. Or enough wind where 15 of it's giving me forward flight. Definitely pushing me that way though. Why do I keep getting fucking LinkedIn notifications? I don't do anything on LinkedIn. Weird looking formation right here though. It looks like almost crater-ish. Don't know if y'all see this, but in the mountains right here. It's very different looking. Chill, helicopter. I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to play with my iPad. Oh, which we're getting close. 100 miles. Not bad. Not great. But not bad. Let's say, why are there roads out here? But we have Areola Highway somewhere out here. Also weird formations. They don't seem very elevated. They seem very compressed from this altitude. So I'm sure if I get lower they'll look bigger, but doesn't seem like that much of a thing. Hey, there's a little cloud right there. Hey, bud. So, Tom, are you looking to get your instrument eventually, or are you not going to worry about that? Because, like, don't get me wrong, I'll be going for instrument basically as soon as I finish private. Not yet. You just don't want to, or you don't see yourself chasing any sort of a job that's going to require it, or you just happy like, okay, cool, like, you know, if you hit IMC that you understand the gauge is decent enough to hopefully get you down safely, and you're just not too worried about it. Maybe in like 15 years time when I decide I don't want to fly choppers anymore. Yeah, dude, fucking instrument and helicopters is terrifying. Holy shit. Did you ever watch any of the videos from that Matt from 103? The Canadian pilot that does like the offshore shit that I had shared? I've watched some videos from him and some other ones of different helicopters doing offshore ops in fucking hard instrument conditions, and it's fucking horrifying to watch. But also that's kind of the reason why I think it's fucking sick and I want to do it. I'm just a glutton for punishment. Little choppers. Oh yeah. I mean the 350, they do have an IFR rated 350. Actually, the first IFR rated maybe not first IFR, maybe it's like the first 3 or 4 axis autopilot tester or something. Either way, one of those has been fucking flying around here within the past 6 months or so. I remember seeing it and going, what's up A-Star? Like, we just don't see A-Stars around here often. And yeah, it was like one of the first fucking whatever level axis autopilot 350s that they were using for testing and stuff, and now it's being used by whatever company to do whatever things, or who knows. Gotta follow more this way. But yeah, I feel like as soon as I get my private, I'm gonna go chase instrument. I won't be able to put the hours in, but I'll definitely be doing all my studying, and then at least personally for my just building hours flights, I'll be attempting instrument paths and stuff where, like, I'm obviously, like, you can't be fully immersed in hand flying instrument conditions unless you're instrument, and foggles only do so much. But like, I do want to start setting up flight plans and saying like, okay, cool, we get up to 140 knots and the wind speed from everything says that we'll be doing this, and we'll set a heading of here, which will put us there, and charting and everything. And the paint failed miserably. What sort of surface prep did you do? Hey, that's what test pieces are for. I'm curious if the plastics that are on your bike now have like a gel coat on top of the plastic, or if it's just plastic. Waxing grease remover and lightly with a Scotch-Brite. Okay, that sounds about right. Did you do an alcohol wipe after you did the Scotch-Brite? That may have helped as well. But you also have to be careful with super heavy cleaner stuff like that on plastics. And then, like you said, you use paint for plastics, but guess what? There's also paints for other plastics, because some paints don't work on some plastics. And what is it? Bikes are probably ABS, I would assume. Because they almost have like a polyethylene feel, but ABS, because polyethylene would be too expensive. Wax and grease will still leave some residue behind. Alcohol is a good way to follow up, especially when painting a weird surface like plastic. And I would say, of course, I don't know what your painting style was either, but I've had better luck with plastics doing I don't want to say substantial, but a pretty serious... I'm not touching my collective. What are you doing? But I've had decent luck with the plastic stuff that I've had to paint in the past for movies or whatever. Doing a super, super light dusting first. Like 1 or 2 passes over the piece itself. Just enough to where like you can kind of see the dusting on there. And then let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes kind of in a flash cure. Because it... you want it to be dry, but you still want like the little droplets to be relatively tacky. So I mean, it's like a dust it 5 minutes later, and dust again. Like it's a very, very slow build up on plastic. Like you don't do like a heavy coat until you've already completely covered up all the other colors. So it's like dust it 5 minutes, dust it 5 minutes, dust it 5 minutes. A very, very slow process. And then once it's basically painted, then you can do a thicker coat on top of it. Yeah, it's all techniques and paints, and like, I don't want to be like, you can paint anything, like, but you can paint most shit. It just really, really has to be a specific way. Which we have people specifically in film, on set, the entire day we're filming. The on-set painter or on-set scenic. And literally they're just there to paint shit. And they have like fucking 70 different paints and colors and types of paints and solvents and preps and whatever in their rolly cart or their kit or whatever's with them. If I was one of them, I would tell you, but I'm not, so I can't. These little ridges are cool, though. I like these. They look nice. Still kind of too deserty for my taste, but at least there's some green up in here. Looks like some water moves through it, but it still feels like it's fucking dry here all the time. $73 nautical miles. Did you say these were Huskies or KTMs? I know we've had this conversation like twice. Very orange, yeah. Look, even the map says it's very orange here. Barely any tailwind here at 7,000. Husky. I do like the black accents on Huskies and stuff. Dude, I low-key really want the Norden 901. I really want an adventure bike, and I want to get a Husqvarna just because I think they do some very cool stuff, and their road bikes look significantly different than most other stuff out there. Although I am a fan of like the new Vitpillen 801. It's cool to see a twin cylinder. The big single's cool and whatever, but I also ride distances because I don't live near anything, so a twin makes more sense for me. So I've been very much looking at the 801. Honestly, once I start working in, I may get an adventure bike of some sort, whether it's a Husky 901 or fucking KLR, whatever. I don't know. Yo, yeah, it is made by KTM. They just do slightly different tuning in some of their stuff and a bit more or less aggressive on the suspension and shit for the street bike versions that kind of mirror each other, and the Huskies look better in my opinion. KTM road bikes look fucking alien to me, but that's their thing, that's their style. So KTM's always had a very edgy look as far as their road bikes and vehicles go. And that whole design language even follow through with like the crossbow and whatever the new X-Bow R, whatever the fuck it is, that cool like $300,000 hypercar shit that they made. I remember watching some reviews on the their Vitpillen 701, and they're saying like, yeah, this is just the KTM Duke 690. I mean, like, the 690 obviously feels much sharper, you know, more, I don't want to say refined, but more refined for just being a fucking cutting edge, like, razor blade for doing KTM shit. But, they're saying, like, the Vitpillen had, like, a secret button on the dash that you didn't, like, it wasn't marked or whatever, but it would put it in track mode, and, like, there's a lot of cool shit on it. It was just more comfortable to ride and looks less KTM, look at me type of thing. I just finished building this bike and bought all new plastics and stickers, and the ones I painted just came white, hence why I painted them instead of buying another set in black. Yeah, I think regardless, even if you did paint, I'll just say the right way, like, if you could find the most appropriate way to paint that plastic, I think just because of where it's at, it's always going to chip, or it's always going to fail just because of where it is. Don't want to say you're asking for it, but that's kind of asking for it. So you having the base plastic being actually black would be more or less be key. You'll just get them in black. There goes the money. So when I readjust the map here, it should show Alice Springs. Perfect. 60 miles left. At 120 knots, it's 30 minutes. But we can add a little bit more speed in here, I think. So we were gaining some altitude there, but let's really lock in here. See, we can cut it down to like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Should be doable. The shop you buy all your stuff. Well, he's back. He changed his mind on the color. He wants to do it fucking black now. So what you're saying is you're not going to ride the bike very hard because you've spent so much on it. And you're going to be afraid to break it. Oh. Do I hear fucking thunder? GPS, are you in here? Is there rain near my house? Or is it just a dog rolling around? Sounds like it might be a dog rolling around doing something. Yep, 0% chance. Put 10 hours on it, trashed it already. Oh, did you ever watch that dude on YouTube? Cameron, whatever his name was, that did like the really, really good restorations on dirt bikes and shit. Then he got cancer, beat it, but then he got cancer again and died here within the past year or so. I know I found one of his videos a while back. I was like, damn, this is really good. Then I saw he had cancer. I was like, oh, that fucking sucks. But then he had a whole video like, hey, I'm cancer free. And then like 2 years later, okay, guys, cancer's back. A lot worse than last time. We don't know how long it's going to be. And then, not too long later, his wife posted a video. Hey guys, Cam died. Yeah, Namela, that's him. That's the one. Fucking sad. I enjoyed watching his stuff. He had a really, really good eye for detail and doing shit in a more complete way than what most people do. I forget which video I found him on, but I think it was like a full where he took... Because then he'd do like 30 or 40 episodes of restoring these things, but then he'd do like one mega episode that was like 45 minutes long of kind of everything condensed down in. 4 times, yeah. It's a fucking fighter. It's brutal. But yeah, I found him on one of the bigger videos, or the condensed down versions of the videos, and I went back and watched a lot of them. And kind of that idea of what he was doing was a decent inspiration to me. Probably a good bit for how much I romanticize the idea of restoring motorcycles. Because don't get me wrong, like I've restored cars and a whole bunch of other shit in my life. But something about bikes, because you can have a motorcycle, and if you are a pretty organized person, you can restore a motorcycle in like a very, very small space. So like I like this idea of a hobby confined to a particular area. So watching him do that really, really got my mind going like, man, I could have a full fucking hobby restoring, rebuilding and flipping motorcycles and stuff like that. and not have to take up an entire restoration shop to do it, because you have to spread out all the body panels and the interior bits and the engine, and the chassis, suspension, or whatever. King Chain, post that name or in the Discord, or send it to me, because it's going to get lost in this fucking message. Yeah, like I would love to do that, but right now all the time and money is tied up doing other shit, so once I'm working again I may do that. I kind of did it a little bit with an old Honda Trail 90 that we had here. I did it a little bit, but I didn't want to go too far into it because a lot of fucking parts are hard to find. I just don't want to go through it, and I don't have all the shop equipment that I would like to do it with either. Over the last film strike, I worked at a place overhauling airplane parts, components, and stuff like that. I think I've mentioned it here before. I'm sure I have. It's where I met Sean, actually. Anyways, I can do really, really good restoration stuff on parts and fixing things. I just don't have the setup here to do that sort of stuff. So it's definitely something that I'll be looking into in the future, though. Whenever I'm building out the shop more, doing whatever, bigger air compressor and blasting cabinets and a place to recoat and repaint stuff and refinish. I've done a few new bike I bought brand new and completely stripped it down, powder coated the frame, Cerakoted the engine, did heaps of performance mods, and then built it all back up. It cost well over 20k, over 5 just in parts. Yeah, it's not fucking hard to do. I mean, doing it's hard. Takes skill and talent, like knowing what you're doing for the most part. But it's not hard to do to spend the fucking money. That's for sure. Projects can easily just cost a lot of fucking money. I had one dude comment on my shop video today, like how much it costs to build a shop. And he commented maybe yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I just got a quote for a shop, and it's going to be... Because we spent $44,000 on ours. He's like, yeah, I got this quote from the local place, and it's going to be like $60,000. But somebody who would have done it custom in stick building, he was going to charge $120. So the metal building made so much more sense for what I want out of it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fucking BRB. And he goes, but yeah, it's so easy to spend money. It's so easy just to, if you don't know what your budget is and you don't know how to like look at it, and a 190. If you don't know how to look at and pre-plan and stick to budgets and stuff, you can go. I mean, anybody could just spend so much on anything, and it wouldn't be hard to overspend and go fucking broke if you're not paying attention. A dollar here, a dollar there can quickly turn into hundreds or thousands of dollars. Just like on my little business idea thing, it's like I'm spending $20 to $50 a week ordering different packaging ideas or supplies to try to put it together, and it's just like, okay, cool, you know, shit's not fucking cheap when you start trying to do something the right way. Welcome back. Yeah, shit costs money. Dumb realization of life. Up behind us we have ANO361. I don't want to be turning. Oh yeah, dude. Race bikes are not fucking cheap. My stunt told me he's got a couple of different race bike setups. Which he used to be factory sponsored back in the day, so he had a lot of parts left over from the program. But like just knowing the value of the parts and stuff on like some of his projects and stuff that he has around. Like he's throwing together an R1 for kind of like a, I'm going to call it a Gymkhana bike, because he wants to do like a Ken Block style shit, but with a street bike. Which he can. Super, super talented rider. Used to hold a world record for like longest motorcycle drift. Or fastest motorcycle drift, or something like that. And not just like going down a straightaway and like sliding the tail left or right, like going around a corner. And being on a specific path or whatever. But yeah, he held the record for that for a while. A lot of stunt riding. He was around like the old school stunt days. It was like one of the people building stunt motorcycle parts back in the day, like when bikes would first come out. He was sponsored by Yamaha and a lot of other places like Speed and Strength, and he fucking been doing it for a long time, and now he does it in movies and shit like that. But he's got like 10 fucking motorcycles at his house, and different levels of completedness, and some live out in the storage containers because that's where they're going to be for a while, because there's just nothing he needs to pay attention to. And yeah, I want to swap helis because it's going to be another fucking rip up to Tennant. And I'd like to do another speedy heli if it's allowable, like the haven't done the 222 Bravo in a bit. It's been like 3 weeks since we've done the 222. Can't autopilot it, but oh, and speaking of autopilot and speedy helis, I was talking to the Cowan simulation people today about their S76C++, and I was like, hey, like, what's the autopilot setup gonna look like in it? There is a fuel stop in between if I want. I was kind of looking at it. Anyway, we'll come down here, land, and we'll end the flight. And then we'll look at the map and plot it out and figure it out. Excuse me. But yeah, I was mentioning about the S76. I was like, hey, what will the autopilot be like? What will the setup be? It's like, because I've got a cyclic that doesn't self-center unless I'm being super, super careful with it. And it's like right now I can only use the high performance H145 and H160 for autopilot things, just because they have the selector in their EFB to set it for like a non-sprung or non-self-centered cyclic. And he's like, oh cool, let me ask my one of his designer programmers or whatever. And they were saying like it should be good to go, as long as I can have enough tension on mine to kind of hold it in place. It doesn't need to be self-centered. Like as long as you're within like 25 to 30% of center, and it locks in there or can stay there, whatever, then you should be able to autopilot. And then of course if you need to get out, then, you know, fucking wiggle it and snap yourself out of it. But yeah, the big thing for me isn't the fuel stop for this. It's what sort of time frame I can do it in, because it's 11 o'clock now. It'll be just after 11 when we land. Like I said, I'm turning my days earlier and earlier to be on a good schedule, so when I start flying, get a good 5 to 8 hours in, I believe, next week. Like I said, I want to do 2 hours a day. I would love to do like a morning session. And then shit, I'll even sit in the fucking FBO on my laptop or in their fucking little school area and sit there and fucking study for 2 or 3 hours and kind of have a cool down, then come back and retouch on stuff and then call that part of the day, you know. And then as I'm leaving, or after the second flight, you know, maybe work on their fucking PC and see if I can get the sim working in it. Okay, music's back. It sounded like it died off for a second there. Yeah, that dude's obviously not going to Alice Springs. What are we? 23 miles. That means we should be able to see the lollipop or a pin up ahead. Yep. Right where we expected it to be. Yeah, I was saying earlier when you were disappeared for 27 minutes that today I'd like to get to Tennant, and then tomorrow or next stream I would like to get from Tennant either all the way to the coast ready to stop or ready to cross, or at like whatever town can be close enough to where we can do a water crossing for like a second half of a day. Because Australia's been fun, but it's time to go through Southeast Asia and get up towards the Himalayas. Who's messaging me? Oh, my 3D printer is. It's finished. So yeah, when we land up here, I'll end this leg of the flight. What's he doing? We'll end this leg of the flight. I'll go run. I'll use the FBO real quick. I'll de-product my 3D printer. And come back and we'll set up for a second half. Okay, they were just setting up for a final. Interesting. Killing 1,000 feet a minute to keep our speed up. 150 knots, get me there. Alice Springs, I can fucking smell you. I can see Areola Highway over there. What's the scale at? 1.5 miles? Okay. Little winds. Yeah, that dude's definitely going an approach. We should be popping up on the screen any second here. Still here, by the way. Of course you are. Sure. You're just busy playing Airport Manager or something else. Do you have your new camera yet, or is it just something you're going to be getting soon? There's something over there. What is that? That's not what I'm looking for. What is that? Some sort of plant or something. There. There should be a plant with smokestacks over to our right, somewhere over here. Just didn't know where it was, found it that. I can relate. Been there, done that. Alice Springs Tower, this is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Fuckwagon. We are 8 miles to your southwest at 4,000 inbound for the ramp, looking for some fuel and to steal a helicopter. Alice Springs Tower. Let's get priority real quick. Cool. We now have priority landing. I wish I was able to see that airplane that was just landing. That'd be neat to see rendered in. We just ain't close enough yet, all's we. Oop, we're starting to get the populated flight numbers and everything. Hello, winds. PC-12, hell yeah. That's what we want to see. E190, that was the one we saw earlier, and C72R for racing. Oop, Areola Highway looked kind of busy. Is this a drag strip? Hell yeah, that's a drag strip. I like how they have an X on there since it's right next to an airport. They don't want people thinking it's a fucking runway. Alice Springs Tower. This is Fuckwagon. We are basically a mile to your west right now. We're going to cross midfield and get over to the ramp by the fuel station. Yeah, erase Cessna 172 it so you can go faster. See, 72R. That's what it means. It's a racist Cessna 172. Let's see what they have it rendered as. Oh, cool. We're riding the headwind here also. Yeah, they got it rendered in as one of the race Cessnas. You see? Looks faster than your normal one, doesn't it? Very racist. Yeah, we're clear left. Gotta look out for that fucking car that tried to kill us yesterday. Hey, they even have a couple helicopters on ramp. Very cool. Okay, throttling down. Yeah, they're all very racist. That obviously wasn't a C-17. It's definitely a racist Cessna 172. Sure, we've cooled down enough. Engines down. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, 220 seems like a good enough speed. No, the rotor brake doesn't work in this one, that's right. Dumb. I'm gonna turn that off. Sick. Shift C. Cool, so that's leg one. We're gonna do a second leg, but first we need to run into the FBO in an effort to maintain our bladder. Come over here and look at these helicopters real quick. Look at more 8 stars. What are those? Are those twins? Look at this baddie right here, boys. Hot damn. No, not a twin. That's not normal. Tom, what the fuck's going on here? It doesn't have the normal forehead like a twin star does, but that's not a standard exhaust. Let's see, can I shift V? I can go. What the fuck is this? fuck is this thing? That's not the same as ours. Yeah, exactly. Our blazer's still turning, but yeah, like, look, we have the standard singular intake, and the exhaust for the single A-star is this weird upside-down U shape. Because it has to clear that, the shaft in the center of the turbine. But this over here looks like a longer nose, almost. Looks like a slightly longer nose, and has this weird upper bit. You ask AI to make you a helicopter. But yeah, it's got like the A-star windows, obviously. That's why I thought it was a twin star at first. I don't know, weird. Can I look inside? But yeah, anyways, strange. Why is it on top of the tail? Oh shit, I didn't even notice that. Where's my controls again? Is this like an early tester for a 135 or something? Well, the 135s always had the Finstrom. Which I know the early, like, or the BK117 and the EC145 and stuff, they had the exposed, and like the C2 with the D2, D3 or all the Finstrom for the 145. Yeah, I didn't even notice the tail if anybody's also curious what the difference was. If we look back here at ours, it's center of the tail. Oh, I can't do zooming. Nope. Yeah, so ours over here is the center of the tail like that. Strange. Zoom all the way out. Wait, yeah, I can turn again. Hell yeah. Yeah, so no fucking clue what this thing is. Okay. This doesn't exist. No, it obviously exists. They wouldn't make up anything, right? Actually, I'm gonna look into this. Because people have, like, looked at their files. Oh, also, it's fucking 4-rotor. Just realized that. Ah. No, I want to do this here. Ugh. What's the rotor system look like? Okay. You don't lead lag? Strange. Is lead lag even modeled in the one we have over here? Ah. Yeah, like we have a good modeled rotor system here. Anyways, whatever. Okay. In flight. Yeah. That'd be a good way to explain it. I mean, that is the 145, the BL105. 105 had the same system. Okay, let me sit straight. Let's get this forward. Okay, guys, I'm going to go use the FBO real quick. I will be right back. Okay. Let's get my headset back set up. Let's make sure that everything's working there. Okay. And good. Okay, let's get back into it. Yeah, so those are scenery helicopters, because like there's the 412 that I've seen in the sceneries before. Don't know where it came from, but the 412 exists in the flight sim sceneries, which is weird. So we'll be starting off here. But people have broken the flight sim coding to see what all the different sceneries are. Also, I'd like to do this just because we haven't done the 222 in a while and I can wheels up and go fast in it. And we've already done one of the required helicopters for today. Let's see, save it back. Oh yeah. Here we go, Tennant Creek. Nah, that ain't the deal. For yesterday only. What is this, 255 miles? Which means at 150 knots, if we can maintain that. What's our tailwinds look like? Do something with skids. I skid my nuts across somebody's face. We're gonna do the Ericsson Sky Crane. No, these are pretty fucking slow too. I mean, they're fast, but they're not fast. I don't even know what the range on the Hueys are. I've never looked. Because like I said, the big thing is like, I don't want to be up all fucking night. Because I'm getting up early to do shit to be a contributing member to society. Yeah, it could make it if it fucking works. I would just rather do, you know, fucking 160 miles an hour easily. And this has skids. No, so miserable tailwinds the entire time. We could use this, it's pretty immune to rear quartering tailwinds. Passenger configuration so y'all can ride along. We'll only burn 4,500 pounds of fuel. Yeah, we haven't done the 500 in a while. Does it have range? You also said there is a fuel stop. Let's see, save it back. Little fuel efficient bastard. Why is it custom time? I haven't changed time. Let's see. What airport would be the shorter leg option? Dude, R66 is so fucking slow in this game. Like, I have to fight it to get over 110. Those are halfway. Let's see what these look like. Looks like dirt. What is that? Neutral junction. Barrow Creek, definitely fucking dirt. Tea tree. That tea tree's a quick little hop. Y-tit. Yeah, that's a quick hop. We'll do that. And they don't have jet. We'll siphon it out of a fucking PC-12 there. High skids. Hell yeah. This helicopter's... I wish they'd fix that. Okay, let's see. Battery on. Starting fuel pump on. Anti-collision lights on. Test cabin lights. That's good. Those are good. Pull. Fuel valve closed. I believe the key's good. I know that's bit me before, but we'll see. We'll see. Got a starter button on my collective we can use, or my cyclic will use. Give that a clizzy. Do I have to hold it? There we go. Anyway. Engine's not out. The generator can go on shortly. Get here, position lights. Yeah, or not. Sorry, I didn't see the message till now. MDs are fun. There's a shit ton of these things down in New Zealand, which is basically you. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, my fucking cycling. Am I sitting straight? Nope, not quite. Okay, that's better. And the 500's fucking fun. So, let's see, we'll also put... We'll let you hold the iPad. Oh yeah, there's a company. They're out of what fucking town is it? Douglasville, Powder Springs area, I believe. Somewhere over there. I think they have a 600N too, which is low-key one of my favorite fucking helicopters. Okay, Alice, we're fucking out of here, buds. Okay, no longer looking at my phone. I can actually pay attention to fucking flying straight. Yeah, dude, so, if there was a 600N model, we'd only be fucking flying the 600N. I love MDs. I think the 600N looks fucking sick, being NOTAR, and also that it's like an MD 500, MD 530, but actually that has fucking space inside, which is even cooler. And the cool thing is with the 500 here, I fly like this. Yeah, long 500. Well, long 520N. Uh, 98 miles. It's also the roads even look Australian, but it's literally a fucking satellite image, so of course they look Australian. They make sure to put the darkest fucking asphalt down possible for you guys to just soak up all the heat. Could have used concrete. Would have been smart. Also, it's fucking a shit ton more expensive, isn't it? Yeah, if we see anywhere that looks attractive, we'll do a couple of spot landings and stuff on the way. Not to add a shit ton of time, but enough to do something unique. Maybe early in the day for you, but it's 11:35 at night for me. What the fuck is this over here? Sorry about the wiggles. My chair just felt really out of adjustment here. This is just like a fucking water pit or something that they use. Looks like it might be a well or something that they, or a spring that they allow to fill up for firefighting. Let me zoom in on this fucking thing. They do something here. It's definitely water. A fucking runoff of something. Huh. What's that? Fire extinguisher. Okay. A quarry. Now, also something I will do soon, once I see a better breakdown of that fucking that red 130 eating shit up in Detroit. I've got the location of that marked on my map, but I'd like to see like what they did wrong and go up there and recreate it. It looks like it'll be kind of deserty up here for a second, so we'll pinnacle one of these fucking hills up here real quick and like half skid it on a half hover. I do miss flying this. It takes a significant different input and approach to be able to fly this one. It feels so much different than the other ones. I also do like that the skids are in front of the helicopter. I think that's a very cool thing. As compared to the other ones, the skids are kind of behind you a bit. Yeah, this thing's very fucking touchy to begin with, because these are like little rocket ships anyways. I've heard pilots say this is the closest thing to flying a jetpack as you can get. nose in also. Yeah, this thing just feels so fucking different than anything else we've been flying for the past couple of weeks being here in Australia. Back of the skids is up. You can't tell, because I can tilt down. Yeah, I'm confident that I'll be able to fly most of these things in real life at some point. I don't want to say that I'll be able to do it soon, but I feel like I'll be able to fly, or at least get my hands, or to ride along, at least in a dual control capacity, of a lot of these things in the near future. I'm super interested to see how different they feel compared to each other, if the differences in this are that noticeable or notable. So a little bit of altitude of this. Don't want to be too low down here and get caught by one of the fucking Aborigine ghosts that keep trying to kill us whenever we get near the ground here in Australia. 86 miles to destination. Curious what we're crossing up here, but it looks like a bit of a difference of geography. We got 20 knot tailwind here. I'll fucking take it. Oh, come on. Yeah, the dissymmetry of lift is very noticeable in this helicopter. Which, if anybody's curious, you have an advancing blade and a retreating blade, because you gotta think, each blade's creating lift, obviously. When you're in forward flight, one half of your rotor system is advancing through the air that you're flying through, and the other half is retreating. So the faster you go, the slower one side, or really the bigger the gap, because let's say this right side, left side, you know, like your right side will be going, let's say it's usually like a 500 mile an hour tip speed. If you're going 200 miles an hour, or 100 miles an hour, you know, easy number. Your tip speed's now at 600 on one side and 400 on the other side. So your other side's creating a significant bit less lift. And if I hold my cyclic dead straight here at 130, we get a super heavy list. So I've got to do some right sticking. I'm going to do some pedaling to keep it straight and tracking ish enough. Then doing all that also wants to push you a little bit one way or the other way, and it's a bit of an ass. Don't know how accurate that is to the real thing. I know a lot of helicopters will also like angle the mast or the main drive shaft of the helicopter a little bit to help compensate for some of these things, and or like have the main rotor tilted forwards. That way, if it's a helicopter where you're not spending a lot of time hovering, you're planning on being in forward flight 99% of the helicopter's life. Why not tilt it forward? You know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the geometry of the MD500 is. If it's a slightly tilted rotor set up to help compensate for any of the dissymmetries of lift with it, because it's also a very thin rotor blade compared to a lot of other stuff. So I feel like they're probably more affected in some ways. Six people watching. Which I know we'll have some more desert shit to fly over once we get to... Really, Saudi will be the next desert. Afghanistan, Pakistan, there's a lot of mountains and stuff out there. There are some flatter areas, but I feel like we'll be doing a lot more mountainous sort of shit. This is probably the ruralest that we'll have until we get to the Saudi desert. I mean, then hell, even crossing from the pyramids to Benghazi, I feel like we'll be on the coast of the Mediterranean. So there should be a bit more development up there. It's still like Moroccan or whatever fucking development. Is it Morocco? Either way, North African development. So like Cairo is like the only fucking thing on the north coast of Africa that's honestly worth a shit, development-wise. But Australia here, a lot of fucking nothing here in the middle of the country. And when there is, it's very localized, just like Alice Springs back there. Like, hey, we're near some water here, let's live here. Nothing else around it. You want to leave, there's an airport and there's a road that goes to a giant nipple, and that's it.
Ooh, there's houses down there. That's new. A good thing there's a pull-off on the side of the road right there so people can look at all the dirt that you have out here. Still a 20 knot tailwind. How about that? We will take any option of a tailwind. Why does this road even look red? Is it actually a dirt road? I wouldn't think so. I feel like this is like the main stretch between here and Titty. Wherever we're going up here. White Tit. Yankee Tango India Tango. Road's going the wrong way. We need to follow the road. A lot of little turnoffs here, that's kind of weird. I was going to be curious what they're going around up here. Doesn't maybe it's a big runoff area? Because it's definitely sure as shit not a mountain. Fucking sleepy boys. Like it for waking up early. Good feeling though. I'd much rather be sleeping. Looks like there was a bit of a mountain up here, that's nice. These are definitely dirt roads, though. $167, only 50 to go. Means a third of that. 14 minutes, 15 minutes till we're close. Something. Let's see. Even itty bitty mountain in front of us. Let's see what this little hill's about. Something interesting to look at. My life flying this fucking MD with the symmetry of lift is just staring at my left fucking window at the ground. At least it's fast. Hovering the right skid. Slowly letting it down. Okay, it's not that uneven. It's uneven, but it's kind of not bad. Okay, only 40 miles to go. Ooh, also, now that we're getting near, I need to find cats. Berlin has requested that we find cats, so I'll have to fly through that area regardless. So I'll start needing to do some off-stream hunting just to figure out where they're at. How much longer? 37 miles at 130 plus knots, 150 knot ground speed. So, not much longer. Not much longer. Almost up to Titty. Honestly, I don't know the name of the town. I just know it's called Y-Tit for the airport nometer on it. The code of the airport is Y-Tit. Why not? It's a sound it should make. Minute. Hell yeah. No offense, but I cannot wait to be out of Central Australia. Cool country. East Coast is fucking sick, but the middle of it is whew, very icky. Now we just desert cruise for 10 minutes. This somebody's own little private fucking desert right here. Oh, U.S. Air Force down there? Interesting. Did he take off to go do stuff now? He's rolling right now? Nice. Yeah, is there like public land in Australia, or is this all just like owned by like 6 fucking people? Or maybe Flight Radar has it wrong. It actually is a race Cessna. Or is the C-17A actually a racist Cessna? And that's why it's so big. It was a year-old Air New Zealand 831X. At that storage. Only has 6 flights. Interesting. I mean, there's no recalls on the 321X, right? Or 321NX, next gen. Because I remember when Boeing was grounded, it was like, okay, cool, everybody's fucking shut down for a bit, and you just kind of park them where you can. No, it's just the Neo. The new engine option. The flair of putting an X in there? Yeah. How long has it been in storage, or? Because if it's been in storage for a day, maybe they just got it going. Maybe it's finally just been turned up or something. Okay, we finally got everything we want to in here, and the paint job we were looking for. We can finally fly it. Or it happened to hit a fucking camel on the runway, and they're waiting for a fucking landing gear. 6 days ago. Hmm. Was it flying consistently before that? Or was it like one flight here, one flight there? "15 nautical miles at 167 knots. The ground speed out here is redonk." I will tell you, I don't think we've had fucking favorable tailwind once in Australia. Except for that 10,000 foot shit. "13 miles, so that means we might have to lollipop now?" Yep. The Tit airstrip. No, first flight was March 21st when I did the test flight from Christchurch to Christchurch. And 3 times before it was just active transponder. Interesting. I wonder what the deal is with it. Should call them and ask them. Or maybe the Australians are holding the Airbus hostage there. It's a viable option. We know how violent they can get. Hey, what's up with ZK? Oh, you'd. Zikoid. I mean, I wonder if it's something like the KLM plane that's like the royal family's plane in Deutschland, where the king is actually a licensed pilot and he flies for KLM a couple times a month to stay current. I wonder if it's anything like that, where it's like, okay, cool, we have this plane that's... Oh, it's squeaking. Weird. Where it's like they had that plane for certain things and it's only going to fly every once in a while, but right now it just happens to live in the middle of the fucking desert. Oh. Tit Tower, this is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Falcon. We are 6.5 miles to your southeast inbound for the ramp. Tit Tower. Oh, what the fuck is Netherlands? Sorry, my bad. I'm American. You think they make a fucking difference to me? Europe is just a figment of the imagination and a place that we're going to fly over in this game. The only things that exist out there, really the only thing that exists out there that I care about is ICBAS. India, Charlie, Bravo, Alpha, Sierra. Probably my favorite helicopter that works out in the wild. And the pilots for it know they're hot shit, so they always fucking show off with it. Yeah, for anybody that didn't know, the King of the Netherlands, it's kind of like a job that's more of a, hey, look, I'm the king, beep, 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 kind of like England or whatever. Anyways, They really don't do anything, but he was a private pilot as a young'un, and as an old'un, he still wants to fly, and he wants to fly the jet for the royal family, but it just doesn't happen often because they don't fly often. But he's a licensed pilot with KLM, and he does that because it keeps him current. And they were in another plane, but they changed it to the 319 or 320 or something here recently. So he had to go and do a full recert to fly the 320. But he's never pilot in command, he's always SIC. But still, King of the Netherlands is a KLM pilot, which KLM means like Royal Family Airlines or something like that. And the royal family didn't have anything to do with it, so it just kind of made sense for him to also be a pilot for them. You tit, I'm touching down on you here in a couple of seconds. There's a couple more helicopters on the ground down here. Very cool. I wonder if all these are done too. Yep. I'm assuming this other one is also. Oh. Cool. Yeah, there are fuel pumps. They were... Give me a second. Over there. There we go. That better for you, lady? And now we're at Tit Airport. Put your fucking arms down. Good job, everybody. It was an effort. Shift C. Fuck off, lady. Goodness. Is this what women in Australia look like? Ugh. Can't get too close. Can't get too close to me either because I start seeing the fucking inside of my head. Yeah, more of these weird fucking A-stars. Anyways. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. There was a good flight, getting out of here at 12:20, which is nice. I can finish up one little thing, and get to bed, and we're going to slowly start doing this a little bit earlier and earlier in the day if I can. Of course, there will be a turning point, obviously, where I need to get back to going later. Yeah, 2 more days here in Australia. Tomorrow, we may be able to make it up to the coast, but we'll see. But yeah, today was cool. And we will see everybody next time because we're starting here at Yatit. then going up to... we might be able to coast it tomorrow. Or we might get up here and then do the next day doing a being then a water crossing. Either way, thank you so much everybody for being here. It does mean a lot to me. And we'll do this again tomorrow if everything goes alright. So we'll see you then.